Hi, this is Alyson Lex with AskACopyExpert.com and AlysonLex.com. And for today's copy class, I wanted to talk to you about something that I call poking the bruise. Okay, and now Julie doesn't really like this term. She prefers to refer to it as exploring the pain caused by the problem. But there's really a real reason that I call it poking the bruise, and I wanted to talk to you about it so that you can understand where I'm coming from copy-wise. Okay, so when you get a bruise, I know everybody's gotten one. I've had more than my fair share because I'm a klutz, right? But I remember this one time I ran into, it's not the doorknob, it's the door jamb with that metal part that sticks out. I ran into it and it just kind of bruised the hell out of my elbow and my arm, and it was not a good thing. And when it happened, it hurt so bad that I thought it was going to hurt forever. But really, by the next day, it didn't hurt so much anymore. I mean, it was still there and it was still tender, but it wasn't actively hurting. But then when you brushed up against it, which you do when you have, it doesn't matter. It could be at the most obscure place and you would still find a way to hit it if you have a bruise. But when you brushed up against it, it was like the pain had just happened, right? And if you're picking up what I'm putting down, you're seeing where this metaphor is going, right? When your prospect has pain, sometimes it's not active. It's not an active pain. It's a passive pain. It's a pain that they're so used to. It's a state of being for them. And they're not even really aware of it until you kind of reactivate it. You brush up against that bruise, or, when you're a little kid, you poke at it, right? You poke the bruise. That's where it comes from. You're poking at the bruise to see if it still hurts. And that's your job. And it sounds really mean. Like, why would you want to just go hurt somebody? But think about it. Are they really ever going to make a change if their pain isn't activated? If they're not actively in pain, they're not going to seek out a solution. And this is true for all of us. We're all this way. If the thing isn't hurting right now, then I'm not going to find a way to make it stop hurting because it's not hurting. And so we kind of have to make it hurt to remind them that they're still in pain. And now some industries, plumbers for instance, their business thrives on that first, I've run into the doorway moment with an active bruise that has just happened, right? My basement's filling with water. I need a plumber. But a lot of us, we don't have businesses like that. We don't have businesses where I'm going to seek out a solution right this minute. I'm going to deal with the chaos, and then when I sit down, maybe I'll remember. Or maybe it's such a slow creeping problem that it's not actually ever in that crisis moment. And that's especially where you need to poke the bruise, is when you have a business that it's not a crisis-based business, right? So with me, I help already successful businesses be more successful with better copy. They have to be successful to some degree to afford me, right? In crisis, companies just can't afford me. So it's not an active pain point for them. So what I have to do is show them how much more they could be making. I have to kind of create that pain. I've got to show them that there is, in fact, a bruise on your elbow that you've forgotten about or you never even knew you had in the first place, right? It's one of those mysterious bruises, which my husband gets those all the time. He swears I beat him up in my sleep. But you have to aggravate the pain a little bit. Now, you can spend more time exploring the pain than aggravating it. So I will concede to that point for Julie's sake, but you do need to aggravate it if you're going to make them remember that they're hurting in the first place. And that is kind of more theory-based, but if you want to get into the practical applications, in the beginning of your sales letter, after you've gotten their attention, after you've made a big promise, after you've already kind of backed it up with a little bit of an introduction, you want to get into the pain. And you want to start by saying something that is going to remind them that they're in pain, and that's going to show them that they're in pain, and empathize with them a little bit. And then you can explore that pain more through a little bit of future casting and showing them what that's going to continue to look like for them without your solution, and what's going to happen if their problem does go on unfixed, and why what they're doing already isn't going to work and things like that. But in order to get to that point, you have to aggravate that pain. You've got to point out and poke the bruise so that you can say, okay, here's how to go ahead and heal and get better. All right. So again, my name's Alyson Lex. This has been Copy Class. Thank you so much for coming. And you can find me at askacopyexpert.com or AlysonLex.com. And I'll see you next week.